Are we doing something? Oh, are
Hi, everyone. Mike, how you doing?
we good? I'm doing
We're
well.
good, buddy.
Yourself?
Yeah, look, I want to start off with I was watching your stream yesterday, and even before the stream, people don't realize that you're posting things before the market even opens. And you were looking for some things to buy when you were on camera. You were talking about plug. You bought plug yesterday. What was the catalyst that got you into trying to scoop up some things yesterday when it looked like things were really unwinding? We had Nasdaq down 3% before the short squeeze. So
Well, you know what? You know what? I just listen. Wow, look at this. I was just listen. I wasn't really throwing darts to see what stuck. Let me share my screen. Let me get the. You know what I mean? Let me give the dude the service it needs. Let me go to share my screen here on TradeGATEHub. All right.
okay.
First of all, let me just repeat myself and sign in how we do TradeGATEHub. It's that easy in the morning. I sign in just like everybody else. the most consistent and important data, for lack of better terms, in terms of at least quality, not quantity, is posted Monday morning, which obviously was yesterday. So let me go back to to Monday morning, obviously yesterday, which was what I was looking at and had my plan. And by the way, I say this because why I picked that plug is because it's derived from my homework, for lack of a better term.
So you came in yesterday before the markets open, knowing what you were going to do, what you were looking for at certain price levels.
Well, this was yesterday.
Yeah.
And this was where the market came in.
Yeah.
Obviously, rotation in the bond market is prevalent. If nobody has been watching and they're a newbie, we won't waste any more time. Go to the right corner and watch all the videos that we do. We do 2 intense ones a day and good ones. And not to be redundant, but I can't emphasize it more. I go back and look at the videos, A, to bring better product and do better, and B, to also learn from my mistakes and maybe maybe do a little patting on the, pat yourself on the back a little bit. Sometimes you want to think a trade might go longer. It's all live. Go back to the feed. And by the way, and let me go a step further. If sometimes this data is a little bit too intense, you and I have been in the market both for now almost a century. So, go back and look at the video and go over and replay it if we go too fast, and then pause it, because sometimes I go through charts. They might be a little too quick about a number that I might do or something like that.
It's a
Go
great
and pause
point.
it. Yeah, that's why we have the videos. And that's why we created the YouTube channel. It's not a one-time thing and it's done and it's deleted. We have a channel for that purpose, for everybody to go back and learn. We're starting to do more tutorial videos, if you will. So everything, going back to my point, was predicated upon the plan. This was the market sentiment going in over the weekend. The market is doing very poorly, and everybody, listen, like I said, I don't want to be redundant, being redundant. Do your homework. And this was a daily thing that we do, and it's almost dynamic and flowing. So I don't want to start from zero and waste, the newbie, the
Mike,
regulars.
that's a great point. These aren't a lot of people are just looking for, give me the trade. What do I buy? What do I sell?
No, it's
and
okay.
the purpose of these is teaching. They're also teaching videos. The whys behind it. If you just want money to drop into your account, you don't need to be watching these videos. You probably need a great money manager like Mike. Okay.
Well, listen, that's the bottom line is this. If you're looking to, if you're doing anything where risk management is, nobody would, if you all of a sudden you're going to pick up and say, I want to, play blackjack and I'm going to take 20,000 and try to make a run into, it's not going to happen. So if you're signing on and you're looking for a winner, let one of us go through the TradeView account, or I'll even, whatever. I'll advise you for somebody outside, whatever. I don't have an ego here. We have enough of, we're doing well on our own with or without you. My point being is, it's a process. If you want to buy, if you want to be, if you like fish, go to the fish market and buy some fish. That means give us the money. If you want to learn how to fish, hop on the boat every day and go out, 6-7 miles for a month.
You have to row. You have to row. It's not easy.
I didn't start. Listen, I still have my win. Listen, I'm wrong. I'm wrong 38% of the time. I've been doing for 25 years. So I'm wrong. I'm trying to get better at it. So the bottom line, we're not here to pontificate. We're just trying to hear for you to get the process. So if you're signing on, we're not going to give you a winner right away today because it's going to be a little bit too intense. Go to the videos and go back. That's why we have the channel. So let me get back to the data and why I came in with plug. So this was my plan. Excuse me. Yeah, buy 20,000 at the market. Sorry. So this is the data. The S&P, the sentiment was here. The Nasdaq future sentiment, which by the way, this is coming in yesterday, was here. Let me go all the way to today. I'm going to put the plug on the back burner for a second. Because there are better trades than that, if you will notice. So where is
And Mike, why don't we bring up the point that you and I were talking about the mega cap growth while yields were starting to head up. I was showing and you were talking about how lousy Amazon looked, and I was showing Google and the FANGs that they were overdone. And I don't know how many videos I talked about, why I'm bearish Qs, because we keep seeing these commercials about someone coming into a football game that's not a player and they go, oh no, I'm not on the team, I invest in QQQ.
Well, listen.
It's innovative.
Well, I understand that. I will boil it down to a more modern, using sentiment, if you will. I mean, I'm not going to, sit 24 hours, 7 hours, 7 days a week, counting commercials and marking them off on my pad. That's why I have sentiment.
I only do it about 15 hours a week. I watch.
Well, I do my research. Getting back to it, this was 2 days ago. So this is where we came. This is where we came in on the Nasdaq sentiment. This was Monday morning. We were right here, and I'm going to get to it right here. And this is where. And by the way, the market had a nice bounce at 3% off the lows yesterday from the Nasdaq. So this is Monday morning where we were, and we were going to. We did test getting back to the precipitous drop yesterday morning. We were down 3%. So this is where the Nasdaq futures on a sentiment. By the way, these are my positions yesterday. I wish I had all these back. I have some of them. AFRM. Look at this. I was only buying it at 73. Where's AFRM today? Let me share a screen. AFRM. It's 80. How about S? The only one in the country at 43. Oh, hold on.
Really? I mean, so there were plenty of offers to take your bid.
Well, you know what? I made a huge living. Where's S now at 43? It went to 47. That's 2 days. But listen, when the market, I want to make a good point here, and it's still, look at from 40 to 47 sprint, S, the old sprint. And let me make a point here.
20% in 24
well, but I have
hours.
to make a point. It was the reason why I did it. It wasn't because I threw a stab. It's because of the process that we do every morning, and it's because of this. Here we go. This was Monday morning. S calls, S calls, S calls. And those were one of the few calls going off yesterday when the Nasdaq was getting hurt. And I'll even make another point this morning, and I have
by the relative strength.
Well, that's the whole trade view is predicated upon that. And by the way, it works, believe me, and I still do it. And it's another one was this. This was yesterday's option flow, LAC. And by the way, this was only it. It's not like I took a chunk of 5,000 stocks. This is all I posted yesterday. And you see they went in big yesterday's option flow. This was yesterday for LAC. And LAC this came out with news. LAC gains
lithium.
up. So, I mean, some of them work, some of them do. And my whole thesis in getting back to the stocks that I point out on range, good price action, and volume are that, it might not have worked, but maybe a day or two, it might have not, but you take the, 5 or 6 of these stock that fit the qualification. I'm not splitting the atom. It's something we do for a long time. Over time, they'll work and they give you an edge.
All right, I want to talk about during market sell-offs like this. Do you shorten your time horizon for how long you're going to be in a trade? Because
it is all predicated upon the VIX. And it's all predicated upon my price targets. If the VIX is higher, I do less shares and I expand my parameters. You know what I mean? If the VIX is low, and that's what, listen, this is the VIX yesterday, if you will. And this is why I added shares. And the VIX pointed out to me, where is it now today? It's still down. Yesterday, is it up today? Oh, it's up a little bit. The market's coming back.
Closed lower yesterday on that
Yeah, it closed
recovery.
lower. And as the market was gaining traction,
yeah,
yesterday into the close, the VIX was going lower. So I knew the volatility was out a little bit, and I increased my share size. The opposite happened the other day. When the VIX finished high on Friday, I barely came in with anything. I came in with a little bit of S. I came with 4,000 hood as opposed to 30,000. And I cut my share size because the VIX was elevated. Now it's all predicated upon what happens now. I'm not, I don't know how else to articulate it.
high or low so far today.
Yeah.
So in these environments, so Mike, do you think we've made a shift from buy the dip to sell the rip?
Well, listen, there is obviously still, I'm speaking technically, if you will.
Yes.
There's still a lot of overhead resistance.
So do you have short candidates that you're waiting for perhaps some type of rally to lay into?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Yeah. And I guess you want an answer. It's all predicated upon the rotation at that point. You know what? Let me go to the charts here, if you will. Yeah.
I did notice that oil challenged last week's high, starting to reverse today. They've been the leadership. I even heard you say yesterday you want to see the oils come in, and perhaps there's some type of counter trend or a trade on the short side setting up in the oils. What do you think?
Well, I don't know. Listen, I'm looking at my charts, not to be rude and look at the screen. I'm looking at oil, for example, if you see, I'm looking at marathon oil on the chart here. That got a downgrade yesterday to overweight. Now, by no means is marathon oil by the best of breeds, but it's symptomatic or emblematic of what every other chart is doing out there. Let's go to Devon Energy, which was the best of breed right here. That had got a couple of downgrades. If I am short these stocks and trying to pick the top, and I am guilty, not on oils really, on other things, and I get downgrades and I see the rotation as we speak is actually working in the favor where oil should pull back, and it's only pulled back 50 cents from that move, I'm upset. And I'm in trouble.
I know what you mean.
So that's all I'm saying here.
Okay. Yeah. So if you're not going to get the kind of action, although I've been fooled by delayed fuses too, where I'm looking for the immediate reaction in the market, I don't get it. I lose patience with it and say, well, I could get back in when it starts really doing something wrong.
Well, that's where experience and fundamental principles come in, where you have to, there's always, that's where it has nothing to do with the pivot point. It has to do with, you can always get back in. You know what I mean? You could, a lot of things that I've seen working out lately is a lot of stocks that I put on, if they're working right away, they tend to keep working. It's also a cliche, if you will, but Stevie Burns or the other, major fundamental Twitter guys say that, usually if the stocks that you put on, I'm not talking about even with size, if they work, the good positions usually start working right away.
So, what I found interesting last Friday is there was nowhere to hide. Bonds were down. There was no flight to quality. Gold was down. Everything, cash. You're not hearing people say cash is trash anymore, are you? Not this week. I'm sure they will in the next month or so.
No, and this is exactly what I said on my yesterday video. Cash is not well. It could. The reason why the VIX has been so low is because everybody says, okay, if there's a sell-off in growth, or the Bitcoin is, the cryptos are pulling back, and it's evidence in the chart, I'll buy some Coca-Cola. I'll buy more marathon oil on the downgrade, or I'll go into AT&T. I'll still go into Procter. It's just, there are some things to rotate. When there's green oil, when there's red oil across the screen and the VIX is very high, that's when the cash is okay. But right now, it seems like nobody's really that scared. It's evident. Listen, the VIX couldn't follow through. It could have very easily went the other way, especially with Powell speaking today. So, nobody's. I'm not scared. I'm in a lot of cash. I have some positions in my, the TradeView account that I got to finagle, and I'm not alone. But in the active account, we're at highs across the board, and we should be. But the market's giving you that. It's just, that's how we trade.
Okay, Mike. So going into the rest of the week, you have Powell today, Brainerd. I believe there's some, might be some inflation data. Miners still kind of sideways to lower. In my view, I'm looking for one more high in the dollar that could press metals one more time. Wondering what your view is on miners.
Well, the miners, listen, here's the miners, the sentiment right here.
Wow, everyone loves them.
That's true. And by the way, they can keep loving it because they could stay, for anybody younger out there, I'm not going to apologize for cliches. They can stay stronger longer than a long time and you can probably stay in it. You know what I mean? And that's, I'm telling you, that comes from that comes from an advanced trader. Listen, it is what it is. So the
Okay.
miners are extended a little bit, but you know what? Let's go to, some charts on what may or may not be extended. Or what you do, GLD, there's certainly, you know,
Yeah.
what? That's in the proverbial danger zone. It's in the middle.
Yeah.
I'll give it a compliment. I wouldn't short it, and that's from a person that's got a thick skin. I'll then go to the best of, Newmont went from worst, goes from best to worst to first. I don't know what that stock does, but I'm watching it. And you know what? We covered it right here. And then you actually said it would go, you know what I mean? I look like a genius and I didn't want to be tied in the position.
Yeah.
I don't know what it does from there. I wouldn't know what, listen, if I wouldn't know what to do with that, I don't care if it was Newmont or widgets or a growth stock right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay to say, I don't know. You have mid-range stuff, it, could come out of the range either way. So I don't know is appropriate. I just have a bias. And the bias is based upon that I don't think the dollar has completed this move to the upside. So I don't think yields are done, but they may rest a little bit here, Mike. And if you pull up the TLT, you'll see they're at major support. See that? You just
you know what? It's a reaction. This is with the volume that just came in here. This could very easily trace and break a new low within a day, or make that same type of move up. And this is where you have to react and more than predict, because like I said, just like we want to teach you to fish. The best fishermen know that the ocean is greater than everyone. This type of move in the markets right now are greater than the type of moves that I'm willing to put to work at the moment.
Yeah, breakdown would take it down to the March 21 lows, Mike.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised either way.
Okay. So that's been the big driver, is people waking up to rates going up, although they've been going up for 6 months, was the velocity into New Year's of how they were going up that finally convinced the market. It's interesting how things could be going on for a while and have no impact on the markets, and then we get to a tipping point. Well, have you ever noticed that?
I've noticed it because as a professional, if you will, I'm usually early.
Yeah.
And being early is the longer you see the bigger picture is the more you are really, in my opinion, are early. Because I mean, if you want to micromanage, you can't micromanage because it's the opposite.
You mean trade off a tick chart or a 5-minute chart?
You know what? I used to trade off a minute.
I know.
I started off as a day trader. It's what I do. And no longer do I look for blocks or big offers, although I do love big offers. That still resonates. That still works. I expanded. Now I look, by the way, my charts are 5, 15, and 30 minutes in dailies. They are.
Okay. You ever look at
let me point out something with the head. You could see even I'm going back to what I posted even this morning in TradeGATEHub. You could see even the headlines are different. Even though Walter Bloomberg, and by the way, he is the judge and the jury when it comes to news. He even, instead of him saying, Tesla got the upgrade, or, it's Goldman strategists don't expect yields to rise much. This is what's driving the market now. Goldman it's not a matter of how many rate hikes. It's a matter of if. And that's how the language is different. It might change later today when Powell speaks. I don't think it's be that dramatic. I doubt it. Too many people are, not a lot of people in positions. And Jamie Dimon came out right after, and he says, that's where you sit. I'm not trying to be I'm not trying to be a hero in this. I do want to see the big picture. I want to be articulate and give a good reason why. But, just like Helene says, the price action is trumping sentiment. It is.
Do you have a feeling of whether or not this is, just a normal market correction? Mike, we've been getting 5% pullbacks for years, and then that's about it. And then we march on to new highs. Does this feel different in any way than those 5% pullbacks we were getting last year? And then the market would regroup and be at new highs within a month or so?
I mean, I don't know. Look at the cues now, giddy up. But the longer, this is the longer, you go to 5-year chart, the long, I don't, you know what, you go to a 5-year chart, this hold the channel. I mean, the whole break, hold the channel. Just, you know what I mean? I'm going, like I said, I want to learn and I want to articulate and even feedback to the audience, if you will, about being, you know, a fundamental and qualitative on what's going on. But, you know, I'm trying to be, as a trader and an active trader, I'm trying, you know, aside from the longer positions, I'm just trying to be tactical. I'm trying to trade, you know, then let me go, you know.
So, you know, let's use one example of how you were tactical with plug. We never got to it.
Well, that was
So,
one of my,
you know, just get, you know, maybe turn back the clock 24 hours. Tell us what your process was for going into plug.
okay, I will. I'll accept, let me remove all trend lines. Am I sharing properly? All right, let me
Yes,
show you. First
it's
of
there.
all, as I said before, and I have to say this again, and this is more the important point of why I did it. It did. By the way, plug happened to be the one that worked out somewhat to the least. Or I
Yeah.
apologize about the poor vernacular, but I'll point out exactly why I did it. Obviously, yesterday, which was Monday, this is where Nasdaq. This was Monday, correct?
Yeah.
Mystery broker. No, this is yesterday. Nasdaq sentiment and plug I consider part of the Nasdaq, if you will. It's that one of this type of stocks. So this was Nasdaq sentiment yesterday morning right here.
Yeah.
So yesterday the Nasdaq was down 3%. We were here. And I said that on the Monday morning video. So always remember in this type of capitulation, and the Nasdaq yesterday did capitulate. It's up another percent today. It's up another percent today. And so then I kept in mind where it was. So, and by the way, I'll even edify this. Coming in today, Nasdaq sentiment, this is where we are, even with the 3% rally off the bottom. This is
Recovery.
where we are right here. So we're here. And we should have been a lot higher after that rally. So that's bullish to me. So let me go back to my charts. So when the Nasdaq, about 10 o'clock, I was keeping in mind that I thought the Nasdaq was washed out. And I'll go to the charts again, not to, right here, short term. And by the way, I was well aware, going back to where the channel was, they just, look at the cues, man, they're all over the place today. This is today's chart. I was well aware going back to even the weekly where the channels were. And I had my spot and I took my line in the sand. So then I started throwing out some shares, buying 800 shares, buying 1,000 shares. I knew I was going to, you know, not pick the bottom because, okay, this is what I did in AFRM. I wish they had charts from yesterday. AFRM, I started buying at 72. And this is the long term of AFRM. That stock has been getting annihilated. I like the fact it bottomed on volume. I like the fact that it held the gap here.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that it was also in the square thing. So it held. So let's go to a 2-day chart. I started throwing out whatever, 500 shares at 73. And 73 on the chart, I think, was where the gap. And I'll go back to plug in a second. I think where I started buying was this red line here, that original gap. So I started buying whatever it was at 70, 73.80, and it didn't hold the gap. So I went again, let me buy another 600. So I wound up having like 3,000 shares at an average price at like 70, 73. And the stock low yesterday was 71 and a half. So I said, I got to make $2 at least for to get even. And I was willing. So once it held, and let's go to a 2-day chart. Let me actually take these lines off. It might get confusing. So once it held this 2-day thing, this line here, and then broke out, you know, I started selling at 78, 79. Okay, it went to 82. So I was long at 73. I sold it at 79. $6 trade, decent trade. And you know, when that started to work, then I went to go to plug. Same time of the day. Nasdaq started, listen, let me look at AFRM. They all started bottoming, if you will, at the same time. So I started adding. I said, okay, AFRM at whatever, 1046 started bottoming. So then I said, all right, let me go to plug, which I wanted to buy. What's that?
So there were a few stocks that
I had a list.
And that you look back on.
And this is my list.
Yeah, right. There were also a couple stocks that you said, I wish I still had from yesterday.
Yes, ASA.
All right, what was going on in your head that you went ahead and decided to book it?
Because, okay, I'll tell you why.
Yeah,
Because
tell us.
they started moving more aggressively to the upside. It wasn't, I didn't anticipate, if we're looking right here, I didn't anticipate this being rounded. This is like one of those rounded stages where I didn't think. The move from 72 to 77 in an hour, granted, I know where it's coming from. I thought was more of a short squeeze. There's still a lot of overhead supply.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was going to, let me look at plug again. By the way, it didn't really make that big of a move. Plug should be up $3 from here. Considering that the Nasdaq has made a 4% correction, the low on plug was what, 23.80 to 20, that's $1.60. And that's if you caught it perfectly. So I started taking off AFRM and plug. Let me go to yesterday's.
I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. In fact, I bet 99% of our viewers right now wish they had bought something early yesterday with a 3% recovery in Nasdaq from being down 3% to being unch. You know, that could be a week's worth of trading in a few hours. So
well, let me go back. Let me give you this and go back to, let me share my screen here. This other share, and it's important and it's relevant. It's what it's just the same as me going back and looking back what I did yesterday on the video. These were yesterday's positions at 10:30, and that's it. Listen, I already took daily P&L. I already took 4,000 in profit in this. ASN, I was long from 57, so I was down. I don't know what this P&L is right here, daily P&L. I think at one point I was down $30,000 on maybe whatever it was. I wasn't flinching. Flinching is not a term. It's a poor term as a pro. I didn't know how much I would get out of the trade.
Well, you know, Bernard Baruch said you never go broke taking profits.
That's true.
Yeah, he had a few good accounts, you know, Kennedy, Rockefeller. So, you know, you're not going to get hurt. You know, have you ever noticed, Mike, you're never long enough when it works, and you're always too long when it doesn't. So, you know, we could always play head games. I think, you know, anytime you put something in the bank, it's a victory.
No, listen, like I said, I hold on a second, please. Like I said, let's look at the hood trade. And let's finalize that. You know what? I was in the proverbial right church, wrong pew. I still think I'm long it. And I am. And I'm long a nice money in it today. It's up 72 cents. Look at this. Where is it today? I'm going to take some off. Give me a second. Let's take some hood off. I'm going to sell. And you'll see it come back here. Hold on. Let's do a little live. We're doing live trading here.
You know, you still owe me a shave.
You're going to get it right here.
Maybe you could pay for it with this trade.
All right. So this is, listen, hood. This is a three-day trade. Would I have taken it? I mean, the stock was 1460, and I sold. It's still above where it's still basically where I sold it 3 days ago, 1640. By the way, I'm going to, you know, advanced trade. I didn't look at and get emotional when I saw hood up. I remembered in my mind this was the 1651 from 3 days ago.
You have charts in your mind.
And that's where, as a pro, and you do your homework, that's probably going to be the top short term. As a matter of fact, I'm selling a little bit more.
Well, Mike, great trading yesterday. And, you know, you're reaping good decisions from the plan you had before the market opened Monday here yesterday and today. So going to be curious to see what you do the rest of the week, and our viewers can tune into you live. What you have a broadcast tomorrow?
What is tomorrow? What
Wednesday.
day is today?
Wednesday.
Today's Wednesday?
Yes.
No, today's Tuesday, isn't it?
Oh yeah, tomorrow's Wednesday. Yes.
Tomorrow's, yes, I do. Jesus
All right.
Christ. You know what? The only day I care about is Saturday and Sunday. That means no trading.
The only day I care about is at the market.
Well, seriously, I want to get back to, I don't want to, we can talk in our own time. Let me get back to one more thing. Let's look what's moving, because I have the responsibility, if you will, to give some winners, or at least know what's going on and what's moving at the market. This is my page. And so at least we have somebody, you know, keep them guessing, if you will, or wanting to come back. That's what's moving in the market right now. Let me, we're doing something I heard. So what has range and volume as of 11:35 of the big Nasdaq move?
Yeah.
Today's range, monstrous range. Baba still going. Baidu, can I say something, please?
Yeah, they're going to China. Go ahead.
And this, didn't we say there was a monstrous China bet? Didn't I give
Yeah.
that? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to get into it. Do your home. Zoom, Whack the
I
World,
forgot who the guy is, famous guy too. It was public.
ASAN. We had
Yeah.
Roblox, nice panel. What's on the high? So they're keeping technology up. Chewy, nice move. Baba. So they went to China when no one was looking. Piton up $1.70. I know a few too. Oh, TTD. I have to go back to this. And by the way, if people want to not continue, that's fine. We'll do it on my own. TTD. This was a best of breeder. Let's go back to the charts. Kept testing the 200-day. This is a oh, hold on. TTD. This is a best of breed. I fouled up the trade if you want to do it. It broke the 200-day, and I had it from 76. It's now 83 with volume. But whatever, we'll move on. So everybody, we'll leave it at there. It's we'll get back after lunch. It is what, 10:30 now. I said it was 11:30. I'm usually used to doing it 11. So let me go to the main room. I'll be on later, obviously posting. There is no bad question. And that'll be it, right, Coach?
Nice trading this week, Mike.
Yeah, we will have options, Lewis. I'll do an option video and we'll get into that. I want to get people, excuse me, because I got a question from Lewis and it was a good one. Another one, Lewis. Let's still walk before we're going to run. Let's still get some fundamentals down and get the audience. If I'll do a tutorial video, I'll even teach you, Lewis, if you want on the side, but let's do a little bit of equities before we get into options. And by the way, we MT5 and TradeView will have options now as a great amenity as well going forward. So well done,
futures,
team.
yeah.
Yeah, and futures. So well done, team. And we're going to do that. Listen, futures are also a good way to trade too, short term. And I learned from one of the best. Trust me. And I know how to do it. It's just I try to be a specific person, but we'll do that again. So great question with the futures. The market's moving good. There's a lot of good trading out there. Always have a plan, stay focused, and thank you for your time as well, Coach.
All right, Mike, thanks so much, and I'll see everyone tomorrow
Okay,
for the
cheers.
midweek update. And Mike, I learned from you and loved your demeanor. A lot of people under duress, hiding under their desk yesterday, and you were being aggressive and coming in and buying things.
No, listen, I took a lot off. But and Rich helped me with that. He recognized the team at TradeView, and thank you, Rich. He's always on. And I really appreciate the support. I should have showed it earlier. I was the path. I'm up in there. Look at path today. Yeah. Hood. I just sold the chunk. My average was 15.89. Where we just sell it, 17 or something, or 16.50. So whatever. I took some money off the table, but we're here to trade. I didn't think the tactical bottom. I don't know if you agree with it. I don't know if my tangents was the bottom. We're yet to see. It's going to, we'll put out more notes lately and we'll see.
I'm not convinced.
I'm not convinced either. So that's why I took some off.
That's why you traded.
Yeah, we did. We traded.
Okay,
and that's what we
put
do
it in the bank and live to trade another day, Mike.
Okay, good question, Lewis. Thanks, Coach.
All right, guys. That's a wrap. Good hunting the rest of the day. Come into TradeGATEHub and get to know Mike and his work, and it's free. So remember, don't just count your pips, count your blessings. And I think that this could really be an edge for you guys to come in and check it out and ask us questions and be part of our community. So I'll see you tomorrow. Adios.